We're live here in Houston, where Harvey's rains keep coming. The waters keep rising, and according to the National Weather Service, the city is now facing an unprecedented flood event. Thousands of people are in need of rescue, including these elderly residents at this nursing home in Dickinson, about 30 miles southeast of Houston, who had to be airlifted out of waist-deep water. So far, Harvey has claimed 2 lives, but officials warn the death toll could rise. It's estimated the storm has affected about a quarter of the population of Texas, or almost 7 million people. We've been following Harvey's path of destruction since late last week, and we have NBC News correspondents throughout the region. We want to start tonight with Jacob Rascone. This is his hometown. He's in southeast Harris County right now, outside of the city. Jacob, good evening.
Good evening. Earlier you called it a city of islands, and I think that was a great way to describe it. It rains and it storms so much here all the time, but never quite like this. There are so many bayous and creeks and rivers all throughout the city, and they can handle a lot of rain, but not 5 inches per hour, and not 20 inches in a day, and not 2 feet, and then another 2 feet. This area, for example, is a great example. This area during Hurricane Rita and Tropical Storm Allison flooded mere inches. This time it flooded more than 10 feet. There are hundreds of homes back there that are flooded. And as you said, and as the video shows, in the more than 6 million people that live in this area, so many of them are affected and cannot move. The city is paralyzed in a way. Schools are closed. The airports are closed. Hospitals have been flooded. It's really a precarious situation, especially because it's day 2 in what will be a 5-day or so disaster. Lester?
All right, Jacob Rascone tonight, thank you. President Trump returned to the White House earlier today after a weekend at Camp David. He plans to travel here to Texas on Tuesday to tour the devastation. The president has been praising the state and federal response to Harvey on Twitter. Gotti Schwartz is in Dickinson, where neighbors have been reaching out and rescuing each other. Gotti.
Yeah, good evening. Right now we're in Dickinson. You see these are boats right here that are bringing people back. You guys all right?
Please help us. Please help us.
Were you guys over in one of those homes?
Yeah.
Wow. How high was the water?
Chest deep.
Chest deep?
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm so glad you guys are okay. I'm so sorry. Well, what they're doing is they're bringing them here to basically what's become somewhat of an Ellis Island, if you will. It's high ground. It's where people can come and be reunited with their family members. Take a look over here. These are people that are waiting for their family. There's some rescue crews over in the distance. And then there are more rescue crews that continue to go out. A lot of people out here worried about the weather. A lot of people worried about family members that are still stuck there. And everybody looking at that forecast knowing that more rain is on the way. Back to you.
Some remarkable scenes around here. Gotti Schwartz, thank you. We are now beginning to see helicopter rescues here in Houston, expected to continue throughout the night. One of the questions people are asking here is, why wasn't there a mandatory evacuation order for the city, which may be facing a new threat in the days ahead? Here with more on all that is Stephanie Gosk in southwest Houston.
Lester, we have some important news tonight from the Army Corps of Engineers. They manage and control the 2 major dams in Houston, and they tell us tonight that there has been so much water so quickly that they will have to do controlled releases overnight of those dams. The Addicks Dam, if you know the area, at 2 a.m., the Barker Dam at 11 a.m. That water goes into Buffalo Bayou, and again, if you know this city, that is the bayou that runs through the center of town. And to give you some perspective on this release overnight, these dams were built in 1945. They have never, in the history of the dams, ever had to release water during an event like this. When I spoke with the safety manager on top of the Addicks Dam on Saturday morning, he said that their intention was to keep those gates closed the entire time. We're now being told they have to open them. Lester?
All right, Stephanie Goss, thank you very much. So what's the forecast for Houston and Texas in the coming week? NBC News meteorologist Dylan Dreyer joins me. The hurricane 2 days past. Normally you'd be thinking about recovery. We are still very much in the middle of this.
And we still have several days to go. And the thing with the tropical downpours, they come and go. But when they come, they could produce 1 to 3 inches of rain at a time. Sometimes, like we've seen the past day or so, they've fallen at rates of 4 to 6 inches per hour. Right now, the storm is moving slowly southeast at 3 miles per hour. It's finally on the move, but all of that moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico will continue to fuel these tropical downpours. So as long as this storm stays in the Houston area, this whole part of southeastern Texas and Louisiana will see more and more rain. We could end up with an additional 10 to 20 inches of rain on top of the 25 inches on the ground, putting storm totals up around 50 inches. And then the river flooding is a concern all the way through next week.
When I was driving up from Corpus Christi today on the Corpus Christi on the outside of town, there were tornado warnings. Was that associated with the backside of the storm?
It's because of the energy of a tropical system. So we still have the possibility of tornadoes on top of everything else.
And all right, Dylan Dreyer, thanks very much for your coverage. That's going to do it for now. We'll be keeping an eye all night long on the flooding here in Houston. And Dylan and I will be back tomorrow morning on the Today Show. And I'll see you again tomorrow on NBC Nightly News. Until then, I'm Lester Holt. For all of us here, good night. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here. And click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.